Let's talk about tractor-trailer wrecks, collisions involving large commercial vehicles. But first, let me say this. The men and women that are out there driving tractor-trailers are an extremely important part of our economy. There's an old saying, if you bought it, a truck brought it. And this speaks to the importance of the trucking industry in helping deliver goods across our state, across the country, everything from raw materials to finished products. An overwhelming majority of the tractor-trailer drivers are very conscientious and trained professionals. They are careful about how they drive their rigs, they obey the speed limit and traffic control devices, and they make sure that the tractors they are operating and the trailers that they are pulling are in the safest condition. But unfortunately, not all of them perform that way all of the time. Well, let me give you some statistics about tractor-trailer wrecks. Every 16 minutes in the U.S., a person is killed in a tractor-trailer accident. There are over 400,000 accidents involving tractor-trailers each year in the United States. Approximately 3,700 people that are passengers in vehicles are killed each year in collisions with tractor-trailers. There are so many factors which can contribute to these wrecks happening, but let me talk about one area right now, and that one area is driver fatigue. As far back as 1995, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration listed driver fatigue as the #1 safety issue in commercial trucking. A study revealed that a truck driver remaining awake for 17 hours had the same effect as the truck driver having a blood alcohol content of 0.04%, the legal limit for a commercial truck driver. In addition, the same 17-hour period of being awake resulted in the truck driver's response times being 50% slower than that of a well-rested driver. According to a 2012 study by the National Sleep Foundation, truck drivers work on average 10-hour shifts. Now, how do we prove that driver fatigue was a contributing factor in causing a wreck? Well, first, we get a copy of the incident report, paying close attention to the time of day in which the wreck occurred. I also want to see what the investigating officer wrote in the notes section of that police report. Did the truck driver admit that he was fatigued, that he was tired, or that he had been driving too many hours? We will also send a letter to the trucking company as well as to the insurance company that provides coverage for that trucking company. We warn them to not destroy any evidence which could relate in any way to the wreck, including the truck driver's file, the driver's logs, and information regarding the load that he was carrying, as well as all maintenance records for the tractor, as well as the trailer that he was pulling. This is important to note. Federal law requires truck drivers to keep an actual log of their hours on the highway. This log reflects when they start their day, all stops along the way, and it also certifies that they have inspected their tractor and their trailer. These logs can also be used as evidence by us in a trial that the truck driver was speeding between his last stop and where the wreck occurred, or that he suffered from driver fatigue because of the number of hours he spent behind the wheel on the road. And how long are truck drivers required to keep their driver's logs? Well, federal regulations only require the truck drivers to keep these logs for 6 months, unless an attorney takes action to secure them. So if we are hired, we immediately send the trucking company and their insurance company a letter that tells them that they cannot destroy the driver's logs, as this is important evidence for our client's claim. Now, let me give you another factor that we investigate when taking on the trucking companies and their lawyers. We look to see how well the tractor and the trailer are maintained. Federal law requires these companies to keep their equipment in proper working order and to keep records regarding the maintenance on their tractor and trailer. When these trucks and their trailers they pull are properly maintained, it helps prevent brake failures and tire blowouts. Keep in mind, in order to drive these big trucks, the drivers must have a commercial driver's license. Plus, these companies must use strict standards when they hire these truck drivers. They must continue to supervise the drivers to make sure they are not operating their rigs in an unsafe manner. Bottom line, it is so important that you get an attorney involved as soon as possible to start the investigation if you are involved in a wreck with a tractor trailer. Now, I'm a big advocate of defensive driving. So let me give you some tips to try and prevent injuries on the highway and avoid these accidents altogether. One, drive with caution around trucks on the road. Remember, they can't stop on a dime, so don't pull in front of one and assume that they can safely stop in time. Two, stay visible to the truck driver. If you can't see the driver's mirrors, chances are he can't see you. And three, pay attention to the truck's turn signals and don't travel for long periods of time next to a tractor trailer. Now, I know this is a lot of information. If you have been involved in a wreck with a tractor trailer or a commercial vehicle, then please call me right now for a free consultation. 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. The call is free. It is completely confidential and there is no obligation whatsoever. And for more information, please go to GaryMartinHayes.com.